Hey guys, my name's Tony J. Robinson, and I'm the co-host of the BiggerPockets Real Estate Rookie Podcast. I'm also a real estate investor who recently made the jump from working a W-2 to investing full-time in real estate. Now, the very first thing I want to talk about is getting your personal finances in order. Why are we starting here? Well, because quite frankly, it's hard to build a sustainable business if you're trapped by a ton of personal debt and just bad personal financial habits. Now, I'm sure you've all heard the stories of the famous athletes and celebrities who made tons and tons of money during the peaks of their career, but once that peak was over, so was their financial security, and they found themselves losing literally everything that they made and going bankrupt afterwards. I'm not saying that you're gonna go bankrupt, but I'm just saying, if you have bad financial habits as a W-2 employee, there's a chance those bad financial habits could translate to your real estate business as well, and that's not setting yourself up for success. So I really want to make sure we take a little bit of time to say, how do you build that strong financial foundation to give you the tools you need and the best chance at success as a full-time real estate investor? Now, before we dive in, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We created this as a place for folks just like you who are new to real estate investing and really want to sink their teeth into some tangible, actionable information. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Tony J. Robinson. I do my best to provide valuable information on that platform as well. Achieving financial freedom through real estate is one of the best things that's going to happen to you. But it all starts with building a real estate business that can provide you with enough passive income to really take care of yourself and your family financially. But there is a catch. You're gonna have to really love real estate, right? Because you're going to live, eat, and breathe this day in and day out. Leaving your 9 to 5 doesn't necessarily mean that you just stopped working. A lot of times it means you could be working more. I know I have days where I probably work more in my real estate business than I did in my W-2, but the difference is you have the freedom to choose when and how you get that work done. So if you're ready, let's dive into how to actually become a full-time real estate investor. Okay, first up, let's talk about credit cards. The average American uses credit cards to spend money that they don't really have, buying things they probably don't really need. And credit cards are a really easy way to find yourself under a mountain of really, really expensive debt. So if you can find a way to eliminate all of your credit card debt, I'd highly recommend that before you take the leap to becoming a full-time real estate investor. All right, next up on the list of personal finances is an emergency fund. Do you have money set aside for an emergency? Maybe an unplanned medical bill, or that old car you've been driving around finally dies out on you. Unplanned things are going to happen. You want to make sure you have money set aside for them. Now, if you don't have an emergency fund, my first recommendation is to try and get to $1,000 in your emergency fund as fast as you can. So stop, eating out, Postmates, ordering all that stuff on Amazon you don't really need. Try and get to $1,000 as fast as you can. That small sense of security that you'll feel by having that money set aside, it'll help keep you motivated as you work to build that emergency fund. Eventually, you want to get your emergency fund to a point where you can cover 6 months of expenses. Now, that might seem like a daunting task today, but as you start to gain momentum and you see that number in your savings start to grow, it'll keep you motivated to keep moving forward, and you realize that it's not as impossible as it seemed when you first started. The last piece of your personal finances is any other lingering debts. Now, I'm not saying that you need to pay off every single piece of debt that you own. If you've got a mortgage or you've got some other kind of small, less expensive debts, it's not necessary that you pay them all off. But if you've got maybe some school loans or car loans or other kind of personal debt that's probably expensive or unnecessary, I'd recommend that you start paying those things off as well while you build your emergency fund. Now, you can kind of go back and forth on which route you want to go. Some people want to build up their emergency fund first or pay off all their debt first. It's really a personal choice based on what your own financial methodology is. But the important thing is that you're both building your savings while paying down debt. Quitting your job is a really big deal with really big financial consequences. If you're looking to quit your job, you're going to need to be financially ready to do so. Now, like I said, we already talked about paying off debt and building your savings, but you'll also want to work on cutting your expenses. Some things to consider. Do you really need cable? Or what about that car payment? Or maybe that gym membership that you only use the first 2 weeks of January? Do you really need 8 different streaming services? Netflix, Peacock Plus, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, name them all. Do you really need all of them? Now, I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. Again, my name is Tony J. Robinson. You can connect with me on Instagram at Tony J. Robinson. And if you guys are not listening to the BiggerPockets Real Estate Rookie podcast, please be sure to connect with me there. We interview investors, usually newer investors, every week on our podcast to give folks just like you who are looking to get started both the inspiration and the information they need to get that first, second, third, fifth deal done. And if you guys enjoyed today's video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Also hit that little bell icon. That way you get notified every time we drop a new video. I hope you guys got some value out of today's content, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.